let's modify the program so that instead of displaying the button name when we mouse over the button, instead we'll still have the green mouse over effect, but it won't display the name until we actually click on a button. And once we've clicked on a button, it will continue to display the name until we click on a new one. So let's think about what we have to change. The first thing we'll need to respond to a mouse click. So there's, if you remember, a built-in method called mouse released, which runs exactly once the moment you let go of your mouse button. So let's just prove to ourselves that this is going to, what in the world? Let's just prove to ourselves that this is going to do something sensible. So mouse clicked. And let's run the code, and you should see in the console that it's going to, here in the console, you'll see that each time I click, you'll see it displaying mouse clicked. Okay. So what I'm doing is, I like to test as frequently as I can. So I only added like a very tiny bit, and it's not even what I want in the end. But it's helpful to know that not only can I run my program, but that it at least responds to a mouse click. And now I can start thinking about, well, what do I want it to do when I actually click? So you might think that, well, so let's start by let's just start by removing the part that gets the button name when we mouse over it, because we don't want to do that part anymore. Oh, I forgot that we're using a loop. Okay, well, that was easy. That's it. So now we still have the green mouse over, but we're not displaying the active button name anymore. So you might think that if you want to display the button name whenever we click, then you should move the display down here. Remember, this is the part where we're actually displaying the button name. Two problems with this. One problem is that the active button name was defined inside draw, which means you can only access it inside draw. Let's go ahead and move that up here. Okay, so we fixed that problem. But then, of course, we have to figure out, when I click the mouse, which button was I actually clicking on. So we can just repeat the same code that we have here. I'm going to copy and paste it. So this code loops over all the locations. We get every single button out of the list. I don't need to fill anymore, and I don't need to fill, and I don't need to draw anything. But I do still want to test to see, does that particular button contain the mouse? Because my strategy here is, the moment that I click, I want to loop over everything and test every single one to say, did I click on you? Did I click on you? Did I click on you? And when we find the right one, we'll save that particular button's name inside the active button name variable. So I'm asking the button, what's your name? Saving it into the button name variable. And then by the time the loop is done, we will have checked every single button. And so now I can display the button name. So let's run it. All right, so we've got green mouse over. So you can see that when I click, it displays orange and green, but only very briefly. And the reason why is because mouse released just runs once, very, very quickly, the moment I release the mouse button. But the problem is, draw up here is running continuously. So we are actually drawing the right button name here, but then it immediately gets erased because draw is going to repaint the background and continue to paint the other buttons. So we don't actually want to put the drawing part inside mouse released. We still want draw to be, we still want the part that draws the button name to be down in draw, because draw contains all the code that we want to be on the screen all the time. And we want the button name to be on the screen all the time. So the only thing that we need in mouse released is we just need to decide what should the active button actually be. So it's like, this is the place where we save the right string into the variable, and then here is where we display the variable. So now we have the same problem. I declared the string here inside mouse released, but that means we can't access it up here inside draw. So if you want your variable to be able to be accessed from anywhere, you can put it way up here at the top, the same way that we did for button list. So I'm going to declare my active button name variable way up here. Then whenever they click the mouse, I'm going to loop over everything, test each button to see if it contains the mouse, and if it does, I'll save that button's name inside the active button name variable. But this code doesn't actually display anything. It just saves which button did I click. And then draw is looping continually, and at the end of draw, whatever variable got saved, whatever name got saved inside the active button variable, that's the one that we draw. So now I've got orange, purple, pear, egg, octopus. Very nice.